Subtract, multiply, and divide integers. In the grade 8 curriculum, the focus is on multiplying and dividing. In grade 7, the focus is on adding and subtracting, but they're related to each other. I think the best model is using a number line, although you can use integer chips or anything, right? When we start to think about adding and subtracting and multiplying things, all right? I think I talked to you last time about how when you're adding integers, you could think of it as you've probably used integer chips before. If you're adding something, let's say we're adding 5 plus negative 3. One way you can model that is with something to represent the positives. There's 5 positives, and something to represent the negatives. Okay, there's 3 negatives. The thing you have to know about integers is if you have plus 1 and minus 1 together, if you have $1, but then you owe someone $1, so the thing in that brown thing I circled there, if you have $1 but you owe someone $1, let's pretend that the red represents you having $1, right? Each of those red things is you have $1. Each of the blue things is you owe someone $1. What's the net result of this? What does that add up to? If all you had was what's in this circle here, how much do you have? Your net worth is? Zero. You have nothing, right? You have $1, but you owe it to somebody, so you have nothing. All of these together are 0. If you have 5 plus negative 3, if you have positive 5 and negative 3 combined together, you can think about each of these. These are called 0 pairs. You create a bunch of 0 pairs. This is like having 3 0 pairs and what left over? 2, right? The result of this, if you're evaluating this, is it's positive 2. Don't try to learn it as, if you have you're adding a negative and a positive, you get this. Don't try to learn it as rules. I think at some point we're going to abandon using the integer chips, and we're going to think about on a number line. I think the best way to do it is on a number line for long-term understanding here. If you're going to do this, let's pretend when you were grade 1, not 1, maybe when you were 1 and you were just a genius, but if you were doing something like 5 plus 3 when you were in grade 1, you might have used a number line then, but you didn't have this side of the number line. You only had this side of the number line, right? And they probably taught you to add those by just start counting and get up to 5, but then just keep on counting from there and go up 3 more and you get to 8, right? I'm not trying to insult your intelligence. Really, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but I want you to, it's always helpful to go back to something you think is really easy, because that was pretty easy. Now that we're changing it to something like 5 plus negative 3, the only thing we do is instead of the second arrow keep going up, which way is it going to make it go? Down. It's going to make it go down, right? It's going to make it go back 3. There's only 2 directions on the number line, right? There's up and there's down. When you were in grade 1, there was only one direction. You just kept making it get bigger, right? Where do you get to here? You go plus 5 minus 3. You get to 2, right? That's where you are. People tend to get these things wrong because they try to think, 5 plus negative 3, what is it? If it's positive and a negative, it's supposed to be a negative, or maybe it's a positive, I don't know, and those look like it should be 8. If you suddenly put a negative here now, so that it's negative 5 plus negative 3, it's not even going to be a 2 anymore if we have our number line for that. How can we model this on the number line? How can you model that? Figure out where you get to from the first number. Which direction am I going, up or down? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? If it's your money, it's bad. You lose $5 or you owe someone $5. And then someone adds on another debt for $3. You end up down here, right? Okay? So where am I? What is this equal to? -8. Think of the number line. There's only 4 situations. There's only 4 situations when you use a number line you're adding or subtracting for that matter. There's only 4 situations. You can go up to start with and then go up some more. Or you can go up to start with and then back some more. Or you can go back to start with and up after that. Or you can go backwards both times. There's only 4 situations. Sometimes I guess it's tricky because you could go back less than you go up, or you could go back more than you go up, depending, right? If you add 2 positive numbers, if I add 2 positives, where am I always going to be? Positive. You are, right? How come you're always going to be positive? I think it's easy. Like, if you memorize the visual for this, it's obvious why you get a positive. Because you're both going up in both directions. If I add a negative and another negative, what's my answer always going to be? Negative. Absolutely. But some people say, oh, -3 plus -5, it's got to be positive 8 because 2 negatives are supposed to be a positive. Not when you're adding, right? When you're adding, you're saying if you owe someone $5 and then you owe them 3 more, in total you owe them 8. It's negative. All right? The subtracting becomes more of a problem for people. I know we've talked about this before, but we'll talk about it again here because it's a troubling one. If you start with something like 6, actually let's go 20. No, that's too big for this number line. Let's go 10 minus 5. Really easy question from grade 2. Okay, grade 2 question. 10. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but we're trying to work from what we know. 10 going up 10 and then back 5. Yes? It's 5. Thank you. It's 5. Absolutely. You get to 5. Can you tell me another adding question that would give me that same answer with those same 2 numbers? Not the same 2 numbers, but what do I have to add to that to get to the same place? What would I have to put in there? -5. You'd have to put a -5 there. Subtracting 5 is the same as what?
Adding -5.
Adding -5. If someone comes along and steals $5 from you, that's the same as if someone sends you a bill for $5. Other than it's not very nice to have someone steal $5 from you, and that might be a bit traumatic. Those are the same, okay? When you see some subtraction, what I want you to think about is, which way does it make it go? Subtracting 5, there's only 2 directions to go on here, up or down. Go to wherever the first number is, and then figure out which way you go from there, okay? Adding -5 makes you go down. Subtracting 5 makes you go down. Let's do the other troubling ones, which are this. This is the other 2 troubling ones here. What 2 number lines? Minus a negative. If you take 10 minus -5, let's do that one first, and then let's do -10 minus -5. Don't start to freak out because there's all kinds of negatives and stuff like that. Just think about what it means. Just let's let everybody think about it here first. Okay? Go to the first number. There's 10, right? That number in yellow there, that is, where does that make me go? Actually, let's draw it in yellow. It makes you go where? Up to 10, right? There's 10. If I'm subtracting -5, subtracting a negative, let's think carefully about this. This thing I'm shading in blue here, -5, is that a good thing or a bad thing? If it's talking about money for you.
Bad thing.
It's a bad thing. But if somebody takes away a bad thing, if they take away a bad thing, it's a good thing, right? Subtracting -5. If someone's to subtract -5, let's say you have a bill sitting that says you owe $5, and someone takes it away. Okay, here's this green piece of paper here. Let's pretend this is a bill for $5. Not a $5 bill, a bill that you owe someone $5. What I'm giving you, when I'm adding the bill to you, is it good for him? No. But if I take away the bill, hey, you know that $5? Let's just forget about it, right? You don't owe it anymore. If you take away something that's negative, it's good, right? What is this the same as? In your head, you're not thinking subtracting negative 5. You're thinking 10 plus 5. If you take away a bill for $5, it's suddenly you have $5 you didn't know about. This is going to make it go up 5, and you're going to end up at what number? 15. Okay? That's 15. Just go to the first number and then think about what the second thing does. This one, on the other hand here, if this is green, it goes down 10. You end up at 10 there. And then if we make this one pink, subtracting negative 5, where did we say that made us go?
Up.
It makes you go up, right? Up 5. So you end up at, where does that, and where do you end up with that? Negative 5, right? That one's tough, right? Right? That one's tough? Yep. If it was negative 5, take away negative 10? It would be, right? Because, no, that's a good question. It's good to think about these things, right? If you start with negative 5, you go to there, and then if you subtract negative 10, that's actually like adding 10, you end up there. You end up at positive 5, right? Each of these numbers have the same length. The arrow's the same length, it's just deciding which direction they go. Okay? That's adding. I said that that's the focus of grade 7, right? So now you're successfully up to speed with grade 7 math. It helps to start with remembering what is in grade 7 math before we start tackling what's in grade 8 math. We did start talking about multiplying, but we're going to talk about it again with the number line model here. Okay? The number line model. Oops, that's not good.